Let's talk about self-development and creativity. Hey creators, Aimon here, and this is where I help you master your creative mindset. I definitely consider myself into self-development, right? And I'm a very creative person. I'll just outline what I mean by those two things in the context of my life and how I think they're so interconnected. I'm into self-development. I'm not saying any of this because I think I'm a hero, by the way. I'm just talking about things that I do that I would attribute to self-development type activities, okay? I'm definitely not a hero. I'm just some guy. Right, like I read books. I read like on average a book every week or two. Okay, I listen to 5 podcasts a week at least. I go to the gym, very disciplined with that. Hit the gym like 5 times per week, counting my calories, all that sort of stuff. I meditate every single day, either to a guided meditation or just on my own. What else is traditionally self-development? I keep my house very clean. Just always looking into how I can become more self-aware, of myself and my habits and my patterns and how I can be a better person, and try and question my ego a lot, which you'll know if you have seen my channel, And I could probably go on, but like these are some of the things that I would typically say someone that's into self-development is into, micro improvements and just, trying to get better every single day by 1%, comparing yourself to yourself yesterday. And then on the creative side, right? Been making YouTube videos for 15 years. Been producing music for 11 years. I have a podcast with over 100 episodes. I actually have 2 podcasts now. I actually have 3 podcasts. What else? Well, yeah, I run a media business as well. So I make thousands of videos in that business every year. So just to recap, I would consider myself someone that is typically into self-development and is very creative as well. And what I've noticed is self-development is creativity. Okay? So like when I'm in the gym and I've got all my reps and sets written down for like what I've done last week, and I know exactly what I need to do to hit a PR this week, for example, I find that to be creative, not directly. I mean, there is an element of creativity to it in terms of you like, all right, I need to do that. And if you're actually actively present, what do you need to do right now so that you can actually hit that? I need my form to be perfect. I need to have eaten well and slept well the day before. I need to have eaten well this morning. I need to have done my meditation, I've done my stretches, I've done my warm-ups. Everything is in order, and order is actually kind of the opposite of creativity. But, you have to have everything ready to go so that you can hit that thing. You're prepared for it, so there is an element of creativity, but it's indirect in the fact that all of the things you do on your self-development journey directly affect your actual creativity. So you'll notice and there's a whole other episode that I want to make in itself, is that, and this is everything you need to know about self-development in one's statement really is that bad choices lead to bad choices and good choices lead to good choices, lead to good habits, lead to more good habits, bad habits lead to more bad habits. You have a big night of drinking, you wake up the next day, first of all, you're going to have a bad sleep. You wake up the next day, you're going to go get fast food, okay? You're going to have a lazy afternoon on watching the TV. You're not going to get any housework done. You know what I'm saying? But you have a good sleep because you've eaten well and exercised the day before. You're going to wake up, you're going to go exercise, you're going to eat well, better that day. You're going to meditate, you're going to do all the things, and that's just going to keep going like this, And if you can really embody that statement in itself, then everything becomes much easier because it forces all of your decisions to the forefront for you to make. So it's very easy to be like, well, I don't want to do that because that's not just the one decision that I'm making. That's the 10 decisions after that. And then after that big day that I just described, you're probably going to have another 1 or 2 that evening. You know how I know? Because I did it on the weekend, okay? And I've been off drinking for a couple of months now. But shared a, bottle of wine with my partner, and then the next day did all the bad habit things. We still had a good day, and we enjoyed ourselves. So everything in moderation. But back to the point is that when you are on the positive decision, positive habit train, your creativity seems to come out of nowhere because you're not only doing all the positive decisions to have a good personal development journey and get better at all of the different things. Holy, I just almost put the microphone in my mouth. The fluffy thing was so trippy. It felt like a cat just touched me or something. Help me. Okay? But when you're combining that with the other experiences which really cultivate creativity, which I've chatted about before and I'll chat more about in the future, going out into nature, having unique experiences, having deep conversations with people, connecting with new people, all of these things, which could be argued are also self-development activities, right? When you're doing all of those things combined, your creativity, you'll find it just comes out of nowhere and it's really easy. The barrier to entry is way lower. And that's really where the magic happens. Because again, just picture yourself for a moment, all right? Maybe you don't identify with being into self-development or being into creativity, whatever. But let's say you know what all the good habits for yourself are. Let's say for a few weeks, you're doing all the good habits. That's not to say you're enjoying yourself a little bit and, everything in moderation. Again, have a filthy burger every now and then. We all do. It's been a while since I've had a filthy burger, actually, and it's been on my mind. All right. And I'm going to hit that some point soon. So, yeah, everything in moderation. But let's say 90% of the habits you're doing are in perfect order. And I'll tell you, I've made, 6 episodes like this in the last 5 days because it's so easy, because I'm kind of on my grind with everything at the moment. Everything is stacking up. So when your mindset is in order, everything just rolls into each other. And it's so much easier to create the content you want to create. All the barriers disappear. And that's the other thing that is present when you're doing all the negative activities. By the way, you liking this hammock time? We're just chilling in the hammock here. We got our lighting set up. We're vibing, okay? If you don't vibe with this, I don't know what is wrong with you. We're vibing. We're talking about creative philosophy. What else could a man need? What else could a person need? So again, picture yourself, you're absolutely crushing it for 3 weeks, doing almost everything right. And let's say you're a music producer or whatever it is, you know what it is for you creatively. It just flows so much easier. The barriers are just gone. And that's one of the biggest things when it comes to creativity, is that it's like, how do I overcome these barriers or this resistance? It's like, well, is your habits and life in order? Because if not, you're going to get way more resistance, because your brain's like, no, I want quick dopamine. I want short-term dopamine. I want to seek pleasure and not have to work for it, because that's what you've been giving me, And I'm used to that, and I'm going to nag you to get more of that, because that's what the brain does. And it's doing a great job. And that's what it's there for, okay? But sometimes it's like, hey, bro, we don't need you, brain. Thanks for trying, but that's not it, okay? So yeah, that's kind of the topic in essence, is that I think self-development and creativity is linked, definitely. And while self-development might not be creative, I would call it a creative journey in itself, because you can also design your creative life and design your life around your habits and around your self-development journey, around how you want to be better. A concept that I talk about a lot that I embody is dream life, right? And I have this very specific dream life laid out for 2025 and for 2030. And let me tell you, every single thing on that list for 2025, which I wrote 5 years ago, and sure, I've tweaked a little bit over that time, I'm going to hit them, okay? And if that's not creative, I don't know what is. We can talk about manifesting, whatever, but it's like, combining an elevated emotion with a clear vision of the future, and then designing your habits and having life KPIs around those and trying to hit those so that you can hit your dream life. If that's not creative, I don't know what is. So yeah, I genuinely think that they are interlinked, and I would love to know what you think. Do you think any of your habits in particular, in terms of self-development, are linked to creativity? Or do you think any of your creative habits are linked to self-development? And that's the flip that I didn't even talk about, is that a lot of your creative, because creativity can be chaos, right? A lot of your creative habits, they need elements of self-discipline and self-development within them. Otherwise, it can just be chaos. So you kind of need to apply all these boundaries and limitations to your creative self, not strict, like limiting ones, but, all right, cool, I'm going to make music for an hour now, and I'm going to actually set a timer. And my goal is to achieve this, this, and this. Rather than, all right, I'm going to make music now for an hour, and you fluff around for 10 minutes and you go, nothing's working. I'm going to go on TikTok, So yeah, they both work hand in hand with each other. And I think I haven't seen anybody talk about this in particular. So let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching this episode of Creative Philosophy.